Commissioner Plus video. We're back with the boys. We're back with Manager Corona, Manager FanDuel, and Manager Chipotle to talk about which players that everyone should be selling high on. It is trade deadline, and this is probably my favorite time of the year, to be honest. Right around playoff time, everyone's getting their playoff teams ready, and the whole league group chat is going off because we're seeing big time trades going down. So I want to talk about the players that you guys are looking at on your rosters and thinking about selling high on. So let's start off with Corona. Corona, name your player that you're not too looking too much into, I guess, in the following weeks.
Yeah, player I had in mind for this sell high, and one that's kind of dear to my heart, but Debo Samuel. And mainly, we haven't seen that production of that elite wide receiver of Debo Samuel since 2021. Let's be real. But this past week, he got around 16 fantasy points. He got that rushing touchdown, but he was only targeted 4 times, and that rushing touchdown really helped those numbers. And I really think you can use that success from week 10 to sell him for a more consistent wide receiver two ish. And this will appear as an upgrade to your trade partner, but what you're really doing is getting a more consistent wide receiver two than someone who's been inconsistent, who's been injured, who's been pretty downgraded as the wide receiver in that offense that Brandon Ayuk is taking over. So I think this is the perfect time to sell Debo Samuel to just get more consistency on your roster. Debo's biggest game was week 3 against the Giants. And other than, that, he hasn't surpassed like 63 yards. So I feel like the time to sell Debo is right now, and you can get something good out of him.
Well, Debo Samuel is Manager Corona's sell high, and yeah, I have to agree with you. It's just a very crowded roster out there in the Niners locker room. Let's bounce to Manager Chipotle. Manager Chipotle, who is your sell high candidate?
Yeah, so my sell high candidate is Keaton Mitchell. And Keaton Mitchell, over the, he obviously wasn't really a factor early in the season, but obviously with, the committee situation, Keaton Mitchell has gotten his touches, and the last couple of games he has clearly been the better back compared to, Gus Edwards and Justice Hill. There was talk at one point that he was, kind of exchanging reps between him and Justice Hill, but he clearly took over that role and might even take over that lead back role. And if you look at his, production, especially that first game that he really played well, he had 15 yards per carry on 9 rush attempts, which is pretty solid. And then even last week, he got even in the receiving game, so they're going to use him in many, many ways. And I think John Harbaugh earlier this week also noted that his role will expand, and they're going to use him in different ways. And with the Ravens having the number 2 ranked offensive line in the NFL, definitely should help his case in the coming weeks, as the Ravens are also a very run-heavy team in the first place. Definitely would like to sell high on him, and yeah.
Sure, and I guess I'll bounce to myself next because I have 2 guys actually. One is Cooper Kupp, and the next one is Puka Nacua. So essentially, the wide receiver 1 and wide receiver 2 of the LA Rams, I just don't see their season outlook being too positive. And then just taking a look at Puka's last 2 weeks, we saw him with 3 receptions both weeks. And then with Kupp, we saw 4 receptions 2 weeks ago, 2 receptions in both 3 weeks ago and last week. So we've seen the receptions go down a lot. Obviously, Matthew Stafford, he's supposed to come back very soon. However, he's not going to be 100%. We're not talking about Matthew Stafford that won the Super Bowl a few years back. I just feel like for the name value of Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, you can get tremendous value out of them. You can potentially get a running back 1 straight up for both those guys individually. Now, Manager FanDuel, I have to ask you, who is your sell high candidate?
Yeah, so I mean, you guys all touched upon some really great options. So for me, I went a little different route. I went down the route of Javonte Williams actually, and I think Javonte Williams has been someone. He started off a little slow in the year, and obviously people are a little pessimistic with the way the Broncos season ended last year, or not even ended, the way it just went out last season, and obviously it started this season. But past couple weeks, he's really started to start off with the tear. His run share has increased, and obviously the past 2 weeks actually he's been top 10 RB consideration. Last week against the Buffalo Bills, he was RB5, and then 2 weeks ago he was RB9. Now the thing is though, yeah, his rushing attempts have been increasing. His points and touches in general have been increasing, but he's been doing it against some porous defenses. The Green Bay Packers defense, Buffalo Bills defense with the depleted front line that they have. But his next couple weeks are looking pretty tough with the Minnesota front line, top 6 in the league. Obviously Cleveland, and obviously what they're doing out there, and then even the Detroit Lions have a top 10 front line. So really a lot of tough defenses he's still gonna have to go up against, and I can't really see himself carrying out the rest of the season like he has this past couple of weeks. And one of the big perks of selling off a running back is most times they're one of the most scarce positions for all teams. So a team who's on the hunt right on the outside looking in, or maybe a team who either wants to add some more depth for that playoff push, is definitely looking for a player like Javonte Williams. So I'd definitely be selling him off right now.
Yeah, I think you've hit on it. The scarcity of the running back position, especially this season, has been ridiculous. So even a fringe RB1, at least that's what it seems like with those numbers that you just said, manager FanDuel, can get you a wide receiver one with this, market that we're seeing in fantasy football. And that's going to be all, folks. The 5 players that we're selling high on this week are Keaton Mitchell, Javonte Williams, Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, and Deebo Samuel. Please like and subscribe. Thank you very much.